On my sister's wedding day, I got a text message, but I didn't know who it was from. Don't go to your sister's wedding, honey. I'd rather you check out your husband's garage. At first, I wasn't too worried about it, but I thought I'd check my husband's garage just to be safe. I was just about to open the garage door when I suddenly felt my heart race and my body go numb. It was a lovely summer morning. Through the translucent curtains, the bright rays of sunlight filtered into the bedroom, gently stirring the stillness and dispelling the last remnants of sleep. I gently stretched my body without opening my eyes. I ran my hand over the pillow next to mine, feeling the softness and comfort of the bedding. Empty. Andrew was already up. The lovely smell of coffee wafted up from the kitchen, and the soft clink of dishes could be heard, creating a warm and welcoming atmosphere. With a warm smile, I reached for my phone to check the time. In just over 5 hours, my darling sister Anna was going to get married. I really wanted to make it to the salon on time to pick up the dress from the dry cleaners and buy flowers for the bride's bouquet. Just like I'd promised, the phone vibrated and flashed a notification on the screen. It was a new message from an unknown number. I looked a little disappointed. Usually, anonymous messages were only from operators with advertising offers, but this one was different. I carefully unlocked the screen and opened the message. Please, don't go to your sister's wedding. Hey, you should probably check your garage, my dear. I read the text a few times to make sure I got it. I'm sorry, but this seems like a silly joke to me. It's possible that one of my friends thought they were playing a joke, or maybe they accidentally got the wrong number. I'm curious. Andrew's garage. Why today? Today is Anna's wedding day. I put down the phone, but I'm still feeling a bit uneasy. Andrew popped into the room, holding 2 cups of coffee. He handed me one, his warm smile lighting up the room. Good morning, sweet Sonia. I'm so excited for the big day. I made your favorite cinnamon coffee, and I hope it brings you the joy it always brings me. With a warm smile, I accepted the cup, grateful for the gesture. Andrew was always so attentive, and it really made a difference. For 5 whole years of marriage, I have never, not once, had any doubt that my choice was the right one. He was the kind of reliable shoulder I needed. A waiting woman. He was a hard-working engineer for a big construction company. He was always reliable, kind, and thoughtful. He never raised his voice and always remembered important dates. My friends were so kind. They always said that I was incredibly lucky, and I couldn't agree with them more. You're up early today, I said, sipping my hot drink. Are you heading somewhere in particular? I'm going to work to pick up some drawings, and I'll be back soon. I'll be there in no time, Andrew, he replied, settling down on the bed. I know this is an important event, and I don't want you to feel alone. I nodded, but I couldn't stop thinking about the strange message. Hey, why don't you swing by your husband's garage and see what you can find? I'm wondering what this could mean. Andrew was such a thoughtful person. He kept his drawings, tools, and some personal items in the garage. He called it his men's corner, and he really enjoyed spending time there. I totally get it. I've been there. When you need some alone time, it's hard to find the right moment. I always made sure to give him his personal space, and he did the same for me. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that everything's fine. I can see you've been thinking a lot today. Andrew gave me a look that said he was thinking about something. I'm just a little worried about Anna. I know we haven't always gotten along, and today is a really special day. It was only half of the story. I was having a hard time with my sister. We were so focused on our own goals that we didn't realize how much we had in common. The 5 years between us made us more like competitors than friends. Ever since she was a little girl, my mom had a special place in her heart for Anna. She was beautiful, talented, and successful. I was always in the background, not as much of a spotlight hog. When I graduated from high school with a silver medal, everyone was so proud of me. They said that Anna had entered a prestigious university abroad, and I was so happy for her. When I got a promotion at work, all my parents discussed was how she started her own business, and I was so excited for her. I learned to appreciate it and found joy in being happy for my sister. Still, deep down, I felt a twinge of envy. I'm here to help you get through this. Everything is going to be just fine. Andrei squeezed my hand, giving me a warm, reassuring smile. Today, Anna is marrying Igor. Today is a day that your whole family will always remember. We're here for her, and we'll do everything we can to support her. Igor is just another little hiccup in our relationship with my sister. Igor came into our lives about a year ago. He's a tall, handsome man with impeccable manners and a mysterious smile. He's a really successful businessman who owns a chain of restaurants. His parents were so happy to have him, and he was happy to be there, too. Andrei was a little unsure, though, and for reasons he couldn't explain. He said that there was something a little strange about Igor. He thought that maybe he was too perfect to be real. I think it's just the usual kind of jealousy that guys sometimes feel. Igor really did look like a model on the cover of a magazine, didn't he? Even Andrei, who was usually so self-assured, felt a bit uneasy standing next to him. I'll be going soon. Andrei gave me a gentle kiss on the forehead, then got up. We'll be there to greet you at the ceremony. After saying goodbye to my husband, I went back to the phone and read the strange message again. Hey, why don't you swing by your husband's garage and see what you can find? I would love to know about Andrei's garage and what I should find there. We decided to rent a garage that was close to home, and we found a really nice small garage cooperative. Andrei was so kind to keep his old motorcycle here, which he was planning to restore. He also left behind some tools and other items that didn't quite fit in our little apartment. I gently set the phone down. I know we're all really busy, but I just wanted to remind you that now isn't the time for stupid anonymous messages. I was so busy getting ready for my sister's wedding, but I couldn't shake this strange feeling of unease. After enjoying a refreshing shower, I started getting ready. Dress, shoes, and makeup. We're all working towards making everything perfect. I was really trying my best to look my best, especially because I knew I'd be standing next to the lovely Anna. I was just about to finish doing my hair when my phone vibrated again. It's the same unknown number, and I'm worried about it. I'm so excited to share this with you. If you're not quite convinced yet, I'd love for you to take a look for yourself. Garage H27. Andrei's keys are in the top drawer of his dresser, so he'll be able to find them easily. I felt a tingle down my spine. I'm curious, how did this person even manage to find out the number of our garage and the drawer in the dresser? I know, it's not a joke anymore. I went to the dresser and opened the top drawer, eager to find what might be inside. I was so happy to find garage keys among the socks and spare shoes. Andrei was always so kind and helpful. He would carry them with him whenever he could. I'm wondering why he left them at home today. I started to feel a little unsure, and it was hard to shake those feelings. I know it might sound a little far-fetched, but I really want you to consider the possibility that there might be something out there. Hey, I was just wondering if there was something I should know before my sister's wedding. I'm wondering what it could be. I'm curious. What does this have to do with Anna? It's possible that the garage is holding onto a wedding gift that Andrei was hoping to surprise you with. I'm curious, though. Why did the message sound like a warning? I glanced at my watch. Don't worry, there's still plenty of time before the wedding. I'm so glad to tell you that the garage co-op was just a 10-minute walk away. I would love to go there and come back quickly, just to calm myself down. I've made my decision. I quickly grabbed my keys, put on a light raincoat, and left the apartment. The day was going so well. The city was alive with activity, and it was a beautiful thing to see. There were young mothers with strollers, elderly couples on benches, and teenagers on skateboards. The bustle of the city is so familiar and comforting. Today was a little strange and off, wasn't it? I felt my heart beating a little faster as I walked towards the garage. I had this feeling, this gut feeling, you know? And I just knew that this decision was going to change my life. The garage co-op was a simple row of metal boxes, each one a little bit different, all working together to keep things tidy and organized. I don't get to visit very often. The garage was Andrew's special place, a place he was very comfortable in. I think that's why I felt so uncomfortable. I guess I felt like I was intruding on someone else's life. I'm so happy to tell you that number 27 was at the very end of the row. It's just a regular metal door, but it's seen better days. The paint is peeling, and it's showing its age. Nothing special, just a simple, everyday kind of guy. I gently placed the key in the lock and turned it, feeling the familiar click of the lock turning and the reassuring sound of the door opening. The door swung open with a gentle creak, like a friendly little whisper. When you went inside, you noticed that the lighting was a bit dim, and there was a faint, earthy scent of engine oil in the air. I was in the dark, searching for the light switch, and finally, my fingers found it. A soft glow emanated from the ceiling, illuminating the space. I saw Andrew's motorcycle right away, and it was covered with a tarp. The walls were lined with racks of tools and boxes, ready to hold all the supplies needed for the project. In the corner, there was a little workbench, just the right size for a cozy workspace. Everything looked just like you'd expect it to, and it felt so comforting to see things looking normal and familiar. I'm so happy to be able to tell you everything. I was just about to head out when I spotted a curious little box tucked under the workbench. It was tucked away so nicely, and it looked newer than the other things in the garage. My heart was beating even faster. I gently lowered myself to my knees and carefully retrieved the box. It was unlocked. When I opened it, I found some papers, photographs, and a small black notebook. I snapped a couple of pictures, but I'm afraid I got a bit overwhelmed and didn't know what to do. Igor, my sister's fiancé, was there with someone else. Most of the pictures showed him in loving embraces with different women, sometimes two at a time. It looks like some of the photos were taken pretty recently, after the engagement to Anna. If you look at the dates in the corner, you'll see what I mean. I started looking through the papers, eager to find what I was looking for. These were printouts of some bank transfers, copies of real estate documents, and strange contracts with women's names. And right in the middle of it all, there was a little red folder. It was labeled Anna. I opened it, my hands shaking with nervous excitement. I found a detailed plan inside, and I'm sorry to say it was a plan to deceive my sister. Igor was planning to marry her, so he could get her money and business. Then, he would leave, and she would be left with nothing. I'm so glad everything was written down on points, with dates and amounts. I'm so excited to share the final details with you. Our wedding is scheduled for June 15th. And we'll be jetting off on June 20th. Today was the 15th of June. I stood there, totally frozen in place, unable to believe what I was seeing. Igor was planning to deceive my sister. I'm curious, though. What does Andrei have to do with it? I'm wondering why these documents ended up in his garage. I would love to know why he didn't tell me. I had so many questions in my head, but I couldn't find the answers. I was happily going through the papers when, out of the blue, I stumbled upon another photo and autograph. It was Igor and Andrei. They stood with their arms around each other, smiling warmly at one another, and looked like old friends. Don't worry about the date on the photo. It's 2 years old. A year before Igor met Anna, something really sad happened that made his world feel completely and totally empty. My husband had the pleasure of knowing this conman long before he came into our lives. It meant, oh, no, I'm sorry, but that can't be true. I know it probably doesn't look like Andrew was involved, and I know he couldn't have helped deceive my sister. But, you know, everything points to him being involved. I reached for my phone and took another look at the message from an unknown number. I'm sure someone knew about Igor's plan, and I really appreciate the effort to warn me. I just wish I knew who it was and why they told me today. I could feel my hands shaking as I carefully returned the documents to their box. I just needed a little time to breathe and figure out what to do next. The wedding was just around the corner, and it was going to be a beautiful celebration. I really should have told Anna, but I just needed to talk to Andrei and hear his side of the story. I just couldn't believe that my beloved husband, the man I had lived with for 5 years, could have been involved in such a cruel deception. I carefully locked the garage door and started my walk home. I was still processing what I had just learned. Igor, that man on the cover who was so charming and perfect, turned out to be a con artist. My own husband, on the other hand, was not like that at all. I was at a loss for words until I had a chance to talk to him. When I got home, I was so happy to see that Andrei had already returned. He was sitting in the kitchen, happily typing on his phone. When he saw me, he smiled. And I thought to myself, "You're already in the salon, sweetie. Where did you go?" I looked at him, at his face that I so recognized, and found myself at a loss for words. I'm wondering how to go about asking a loved one if they're helping you cheat on your sister. I know it can be hard to know how to ask a question that could change your life forever. "Andrei, I really need to talk to you," I said, feeling a bit nervous. He was right there, ready to listen. He stood up straight, put down his phone, and looked at me with a warm, concerned expression. "Is everything okay? Did something happen? You look upset." I took a deep, restorative breath. I know how hard it is to make up your mind sometimes. I really wanted to know the truth, and I knew I had to find out. "I was in your garage," I said, smiling warmly as I watched his reaction. Andrei's face showed a range of emotions. First, he looked surprised. Then, he looked worried. And finally, he looked strangely relieved. "What for? What were you looking for?" "Don't worry about it. It really doesn't matter. I'm happy to share what I found." I tried to speak firmly, but I'm not sure I did it in the right way. "I found a box of documents, and I was so surprised to see the photos of Igor with various women. I also found a plan to cheat on my sister and a photo of you together taken long before he met Anna." Andrei didn't say a word. He gave me a look, and it was clear that he was trying really hard. Then he got up, went to the window, and stared out for a long time before leaving. Then he went to talk. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier. I was worried that you might think badly of me, and I didn't want you to." "So, it's true. You know Igor. You know he's a con artist." Andrei looked at me, and I could see the pain in his eyes. "Oh, Igor, I'm so glad to hear from you. We met 3 years ago when we worked on a project together. I had no idea what kind of person he was until I heard stories about his past exploits. He's really into women who are a bit more well off. and he usually starts things with them. They get into the relationship, and then, well, he's off with their money. And you've been quiet all this time. I let him get close to my sister, and I'm so glad he did. I'm so curious, Andrei. Why? What for? I just found out recently, right after Igor and Anna got engaged. He and I happened to cross paths at a restaurant where he was with your sister. I could see that he was becoming anxious. And then, when Anna left, he came up to me and asked me not to give him away, and I was so touched by his trust in me. And you agreed. I agreed to keep quiet, and I'm happy to do that. Oh, no, I totally said I'd tell your sister everything, but he started getting a little threatening, and I just couldn't do it. He said that if I interfered, it would really hurt your career. He's got some friends in your company, which is great. He could have caused you to lose your job and made it really hard for you to find work in this field again. I was in disbelief. Igor was a bit overzealous. He threatened my husband, my family, and my career. Andrei was kind enough to stay quiet so that he wouldn't upset me. I'm just wondering, what about my sister? Why didn't you tell me? I know it's hard, but I can still feel the pain inside me. I was trying to find some evidence that might help us understand Igor better. I would love to show Anna the evidence, if that would help her believe. You know her so well. I'm sure she'd be amazed to hear what I said, especially since it was my own words. She was always a bit cautious around me. It was true. Anna has always been very open about the fact that she doesn't see us as winners. In her eyes, it seemed like we weren't able to fully succeed. She was such a simple, hard-working person, and she built an incredible empire. I'm so glad to be of service. Here are the documents you need. They'll serve as your evidence. Absolutely. I decided to follow Igor, gather some information, and hire a private investigator to help me out. I've been trying my best to find a way to stop this wedding without jeopardizing your career, and I really hope I can do it. I'm so glad to say that I have everything I need now. Andrei gently gestured towards his phone. I was just about to give Anna a call and let her know everything. I looked at my husband and was torn. I wasn't sure whether I should believe him. I'm glad he said that. It makes sense. But I wish he'd told me sooner. I'd love to know why you didn't let me in on the secret. I'm curious to know who sent me that message. Andrei, I'm so curious, who knew about the documents in the garage? Message? What message are you trying to send? I showed him my phone, and I was so happy to be able to share the messages with him. Andrei read them and frowned. I'm really not sure who it could be. I'm wondering if it could be the detective I hired. Gosh, it's a little strange, but he didn't have your number. Or maybe it was Igor? It's possible that he noticed your surveillance and decided to create some discord between us. Maybe, Andrei said thoughtfully. In any case, let's talk about the truth. Then we can decide what to do next, together. I'm so excited. The wedding is less than 3 hours away. I plopped down on a chair, totally spent. I was so happy to hear that Andrei wasn't caught up in Igor's scheme. I was really disappointed to find out that he was keeping something so important from me. And then there was Anna, my sister. We had our fair share of challenges, but I love her dearly. I understand that she might have her doubts, and it's possible she thinks I'm trying to ruin her happiness out of envy. I really think we should tell Anna, I said, feeling a bit nervous. Now, before the wedding, would you mind showing her all the evidence? I agree, Andrei said with a warm smile. I know it's hard, but you've got to be ready for the possibility that she might not believe it. Igor really knows how to make people believe in him. He might say that we made these documents up just because we wanted to see them happy. We should definitely give it a try. I would never want my sister to marry a con artist. even if that means she might hate me for it. Andrei came over and gave me a big hug. I held on to him tightly, not fully convinced that I could place my trust in him. I understand, but there was just no other option. We had to work together, and I'm so proud of us for getting through it. Then let's go, Andrei said with a warm smile. Let's show her the truth. We gathered all the documents from the garage, hopped in the car, and drove over to my parents' house. Anna was getting ready for the ceremony there. I tried to give my sister a call on the way, but she didn't pick up. Then I tried to contact my mother. After going through a few rings, she finally answered. Olga, sweetie, you know I love you and I'm worried. Where are you? Please call me. I'm worried. We're all waiting for you with open arms. Hey, just a heads up, the ceremony is less than 2 million hours away, and you're not even in the salon yet. Mom, I'm here for you. I really need to talk to Anna. I'm worried about her, and I think it's important that we talk soon. It's really important. My dear, are you all right? We all know how important it is to let the bride relax and enjoy her special day before the wedding. I'm so happy to tell you that she now has a makeup artist and hairdresser. We're all working towards making everything perfect. Mom, I really need your help here. This is so important. We're talking about something that's really important, something that could mean life or death. Olga, my dear, please don't exaggerate. Is there anything more important than your sister's wedding? I'm counting on you to come quickly and stay out of trouble. She ended the call before she had the chance to finish. My mum always does this. Anna was always the top priority. We really care about her comfort and well-being. She's not allowing me to talk to her, I said, feeling a bit sad. I turned to Andrei. Then it'll be important for you to act in a different way. No matter what the protests are like, we'll still arrive and stop by Anna's place. When we arrived at my parents' house, we were immediately struck by the sight of several expensive cars parked at the entrance. It looks like close relatives and friends had already arrived, which is great. I held a folder of documents in my hands, feeling a bit nervous. It was clear that fear and uncertainty were growing by the minute. I know we're all doing our best, but what if we're wrong? I know we all want to believe, but what if all this evidence is fabricated? I'm worried that I might be hurting my sister by being around her. We went up to the porch, and I rang the doorbell. My dear mother was the one who opened it. When she saw us, she threw up her hands. Olga, you look so lovely without makeup. Oh, honey, please come in here. I'll show you your dress in a minute. Hey, the stylist has been waiting for you for half an hour. Mom, I really need to talk to Anna, I said firmly. I already let you know that it's best not to disturb her. She's in her room with the makeup artist, getting ready for the big event. I walked past my mother and made my way to the door. Up the stairs. When Anna visited her parents, she always stayed in her old room on the second floor. Hey, Olga. I was just wondering, where are you off to? We'd love to have you back here with us. My dear mother tried to stop me, but Andrei, being the kind and considerate person he is, gently took her by the elbow. Let them talk. I really want to emphasize how important this is. I climbed the stairs, my heart beating a little faster than usual. I'd love to know what I should tell my sister. I would love to tell you how I feel about all this, but I'm not quite sure how to put it into words. I'm really hoping she'll believe me. I took a moment to gather my thoughts right outside Anna's door, and then I knocked gently. Please, don't come in just yet. I'm not quite ready, my sister said with a warm, understanding tone. Hey Anna, it's Olga here. I need to talk to you. Hey Olga, you just got here, and I'm so glad to see you. Go get ready, my love, and we'll talk later. It can't wait. I gently opened the door and went in. Anna was sitting in front of the mirror, wearing beautiful white underwear. The lovely makeup artist was just finishing up her makeup. My sweet sister looked a little disappointed when she saw me. "What's going on, my friend?" "I'm sorry, but I'm not sure why you're barging in without permission. I really think it would be good for us to talk in private." I gave a little nod of acknowledgement to the makeup artist. Anna let out a gentle sigh and gently gestured the girl away. When the door closed behind her, my sweet sister turned to me with a warm smile. "I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm worried about the urgency." "You can totally see that. I'm getting ready for one of the most important days of my life. That's why I'm here." I strolled up to her and gently placed a folder of documents right in front of her. "Anna, I'm worried because Igor isn't who he says he is." The nurse gave her a sympathetic look. "I'm sorry, but I really don't appreciate you coming here to tell me how little I know about my fiancé. Igor and I have been together for a year now, and it's been an incredible journey. I'm so glad we agree that he's a perfect match for me." "No, my friend, you don't understand. Igor is a bit of a scammer. He marries rich women and then, sadly, disappears with their money. And you're his next victim." Anna laughed, but there was a hint of nervousness in her laughter. "I'm curious, though. What's behind these fantasies? I'm sure that's what Andriy told you, and I'm happy to help you with that. He was a bit odd around Igor." "Hey, Anna, why don't you go ahead and open the folder? I'm sure you'll see what I mean." The nurse took the folder, hesitated, and then began scanning the contents. As she gently flipped through the pages, her face revealed a range of emotions. It's normal to feel a range of emotions, from shock and disbelief to pain, and finally, anger. "I'm sorry, but I'm having a hard time understanding what you mean." "Where did you get this?" "I'm so happy to tell you that Andriy found this. He and Igor have been friends for quite a while. I had this feeling even before he met you by chance." "Anna, don't you worry, everything is planned. He chose you because he really values your money and successful business." My sweet sister gently closed the folder and handed it to me. "I'm sorry, but I just can't believe it. You and your husband are so lucky. I know you're not used to seeing me so happy and doing so well, but I am doing really well. You can accept that." "Oh, Igor, they really put you through the ringer, didn't they? It was a real bummer to ruin your day like that." "Anna, sweetie, I know you're a smart girl, so I'm sure you can figure this out. Take a look at the dates on the photos. They're made especially for you after your engagement. I'm sorry to say that he's not being faithful to you. And this is just a little slice of the truth." "Please, sweetie, let me help you," the nurse whispered gently. "Please, would you mind getting out of my room and out of my house? I would love for you to be at the wedding. But I totally understand if you can't make it. I know you've always really admired me, and I totally respect that. I'm just a little surprised that you've been trying to bring down my success. I know you mean well, and I'm not upset, but I'm just surprised." I stood there, feeling a bit speechless. I knew the response was coming, but it still stung a bit. "I was trying to look out for you and keep you safe. I'm not looking for any protection, thanks. I have Igor. He really loves me and is always thinking about me. I understand that you're feeling a bit envious of our joy." At that moment, the door opened, and there was my dear mother, stepping in. She looked from me to Anna, and I could see that she was feeling a bit tense. "Hey, what's going on here? Anna, sweetie, what's the matter?" "Just ask your youngest daughter. She came to tell me something very important. She said that my fiancé was a con artist. She said he was marrying me for money." "Mom, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you that's not true. She's just feeling a bit jealous. My mother gave me a look that was both interested and a little reproachful. Olga, I'm so surprised. I know you've always been envious of weddings, but I think this is taking it a bit too far. Mom, I'm so happy to tell you that it's true. We've got all the proof you need right here, photos, documents, the whole 9 yards. Igor the deceiver. What other evidence do you have? Igor comes from a really wonderful family. He's got his own business going on, and he's doing great. He absolutely adores Anna and is so devoted to taking care of her. I'm sorry, but I can't accept that. I understand that his business is just a front, and I'm here to support you in any way I can. You know, he actually makes his living off of what some women have been cheated out of. My mother's expression told me that she wasn't quite buying it, but I understood that it was just her way of showing her concern. I think it would be best if you went, Olga. I'm so sorry, but you're upsetting the bride on the most important day of her life. I know we're all excited for your sister's wedding, but if you're not able to be happy for her, it might be better if you find another way to celebrate her special day. I was so surprised when my mother told me she was kicking me out. I felt like I hadn't even had a chance to explain. But you know what? It was so typical of our family. Anna was always the kind of person who put others first. It's so important to her, and she'd love to talk about it with you. I'll be happy to leave, my friend. Anna, I'm worried that if you marry him, you might start to feel disappointed in the relationship. I'm sorry, but if he takes your money and disappears, I'm afraid I won't be able to help you. I picked up the scattered documents from the floor, turned around, and left the room. I was greeted on the stairs by a concerned man. His name was Andrei. Here's what happened. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I know she's just trying to understand, but she doesn't believe me. He thinks we might have imagined it because we're feeling a bit jealous. And, of course, her mother is always there for her. Andrei gave me a big hug, and I finally felt able to let myself cry. The tension of the last few hours finally found expression in a few tears. What can we do now, sweetie? I whispered, my voice barely above a whisper. I think it might be a good idea to talk to Igor face to face. We'd love to show him what we know about his plan and what it will do. He'll probably just say it's a fake and deny everything. I understand, but we have to be careful. We don't want to scare him off or mess up his plans. I thought about it, and I really wanted to do it. Oh, it really made perfect sense. I'm sure it won't be easy for Igor to deal with, but if he finds out that he was discovered, he can refuse the wedding. I know this will be hard on Anna, but I'm hopeful that it will help her avoid bigger problems down the road. Let's give it a try, I said with a smile. Where can I find him? I'm sure he's getting ready for the ceremony in his penthouse. I've got the address, so we're all set. We left the house, and my mother called out to us, but we didn't stop. The wedding was just around the corner, and we really needed to get a move on. Igor's penthouse was in a really nice, exclusive area of the city. Imagine living in a beautiful, luxury building with a friendly concierge to help you with whatever you might need. And just picture it from the comfort of your own home, with a lovely river view to take your breath away. We hopped in the elevator and went up to the top floor. I stopped right in front of the door, and she seemed a little unsure for a second. What if we're wrong? I know this might sound strange, but I'm wondering if all this evidence might be fake. Then, I remembered the photos and the deception plan dated today, and pressed the bell firmly. Igor was the one who opened the door. He was just starting to get comfortable, with his shirt buttoned up and a glass of whiskey in his hand. He looked a little surprised when he saw us, but he quickly recovered himself. Olga, Andrei, I'm so happy to see you both. I know you're probably preparing for the ceremony, right?" Andri said gently, but firmly. "We need to talk." "I'd love to log in and get started." Igor kindly let us in, stepping back to let us enter the apartment. The interior was absolutely gorgeous, such a luxurious and stylish space. I was so surprised by the beautiful furniture, paintings on the walls, and panoramic windows with city views. I really appreciate everything I got to experience during such an unexpected visit. "Is Anna doing well?" I said. "We're here to share with you the information we have about your plan." Igor raised an eyebrow, but his face remained calm and neutral. "Hey, I'm curious. What plan are you referring to?" Andri lovingly took out a folder of documents and gently placed it on the coffee table. "I'm a little worried about your plan to marry Anna. I'm sure you're just trying to gain access to her money and business. And I don't blame you for that. But I'm also concerned that you're planning to leave her like you've done with other women before." Igor looked at the folder, but he didn't do anything with it. He tried to open it, but he couldn't. Instead, he took a sip from his glass and smiled. "What a fascinating theory. I'm so curious. Where did you get this information?" "No matter," Andri said with a warm smile. "What matters most is that we're all in this together, knowing what's going on. We're really hoping you'll cancel the wedding, because we don't want to have to go to the police." Igor let out a hearty laugh. "I'm so worried about what you're going to tell the police." "I'm sorry, but with a folder of some obscure documents, there's just no way to make a case. There's no victim impact statement, and there's really no evidence of fraud." "Absolutely not. Everything is above board." "I absolutely adore Anna, and I'm thrilled to marry her because I'm head over heels in love with her." "Please, don't lie to me," I said with a gentle smile. "We've seen the photos, and we're sure they're just a reflection of the wonderful person he is." "I'm sorry, but it seems like you might have been unfaithful with other women, and a plan to help you with each step of the process. I'm so excited to share the date of our wedding. It's going to be on June 15th, and we'll be heading off on our adventure on June 20th. Today is June 15th, my dear. I'm a little concerned that you're planning to take her money with you in 5 days." Igor's smile widened, and he looked at me with a warm, radiant glow. "Andri, you and your partner make such an interesting couple. I know you are just being cautious, and I appreciate that. I'm surprised by how far you've gone, though. It seemed like he was following me, trying to learn more about me." "Wow, that's impressive." "I totally get it. You don't deny it." Andri took a step forward, eager to be part of the conversation. "I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm just saying that in 2 hours, I'll be married to Anna, and I'm sure you'll want me to be happy. I'm sure you'll do your best to help me prevent anything that might get in the way of that." "We'll be sure to tell her the truth and show her the evidence," I said with a smile. "I can feel the anger building inside me, and I want to do something about it." "I know you've already given it your best, and I really appreciate your efforts. And how would you like to do that?" She had faith. "No, I'm afraid that's not it. Anna is just so in love with me, and she's a little blind to some things. I know she'll never be able to accept that her perfect guy could ever be a con artist, especially if these accusations come from an envious sister and her husband who's not very successful. I understand where you're coming from, but I think you're mistaken. We'll find a way to convince her, and we'll do it together." "I don't think so. I'm so glad we can talk about this. You're going to love what I've got to tell you. I'm so glad you came. I'm so happy to be able to share in your experience. It was so heartwarming to see you trying your best to help Hannah, even though you weren't sure how you could. I know it was hard for you, and I'm so grateful that you had faith in me." Andri took a step forward, his fists clenched gently. "I know you're going to do your best, but I'm afraid you're not going to see this through." Igor gently set down his glass and took a tender step forward. "I'm so happy you're here, and I'd love to help you stop feeling this way. If that's what you're trying to do, I'm here for you, and I've got connections you might find helpful. I'm sure I could help you both out in a heartbeat, if you need me to. Don't worry, Olga. I know you're a great person with a great career and reputation. I'm sure everything will work out fine." I saw how Andrei was ready to do whatever he could to help Igor. I gently grabbed his arm. "I understand your frustration, but I'm afraid that won't solve anything." Igor let out a hearty chuckle. "Andrei, please listen to your wife. She's a very intelligent person. I'm so sorry to hear about the violence. I know it only makes things harder, and I'm here for you. Now, if you're all done here, I'd love to keep working on getting ready for the wedding." We were there, unsure of what to do next, and we were worried. Igor felt sure that he was safe. "I know Anna really well, and I can tell you that no matter what we say, she's not going to believe us." "Oh, honey, I'm sorry to say that he was right. Don't worry. It's not over yet," Andrei said, taking the folder from the table with a warm smile. "For you, maybe not, but for me and Anna, this is just the start of something wonderful." With a friendly wink, Igor opened the door and invited us to come on out. We emerged from the penthouse feeling a bit overwhelmed, but we were also feeling grateful for the experience. Igor wasn't just not afraid. He actually seemed to be enjoying the situation. He had such a strong sense of self-assurance, and that's what made him so captivating. "What do we do now, sweetie?" I decided to ask while we were riding the elevator down. "We're in a bit of a pickle, aren't we?" Andrei said, a touch sadly. "I would love for you to come to the wedding and try to stop it right during the ceremony." "Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. It's a scandal. We have a choice, and I know we'll make the right one. Anna is having a hard time believing us, and we understand how she feels." Igor is not afraid. "All that's left for us to do is come out publicly with the evidence." I imagined us gently stepping in to share some concerns about the groom's background during the wedding ceremony. We would do our best to provide evidence and photos to support our concerns. "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." "I know it's going to be awful. It's such a shame that the whole family is missing, and all the guests too." "I totally understand, but if it's the only way to save Anna from a much bigger disaster, I'm all for it." "Okay, that sounds great," I said with a smile. "I'm so excited for the ceremony, but I'm not quite sure how to get there. Can you help me figure out the route?" My dear mother was a bit worried and felt it would be best if I didn't come. "I'm so excited to tell you that the ceremony will be in an open church. Don't worry, they won't be able to stop us from entering." We hopped in the car and drove home, our hearts filled with gratitude for the opportunity to be together. I really needed to change my clothes and get ready for the worst thing I'd ever done, publicly embarrassing my own sister on her wedding day. When I'm relaxing at home, I like to wear a simple black dress. It's not too fancy, but it's not too casual, either. It's perfect for wearing to someone else's wedding and still looking presentable. Andrei also changed into a strict suit. We gathered our documents in silence, each of us preparing to face the most difficult conversation of our lives. When everything was ready, we hopped in the car and drove over to the church. As I went along, I couldn't stop thinking about the possible outcomes. I'm worried that Annie might be upset with me. My parents, too. I'm sure the whole family will turn away. I know it was a tough situation, but I'm wondering what else could have been done. I really don't understand how I could ever let my sweet sister marry a man who plans to cheat and ruin her. The church was absolutely beautiful, decorated with white lilies and roses. At the entrance, You'll see elegant cars with white ribbons. Guests dressed in their finest clothes walked in, their smiles lighting up the room as they congratulated each other. Everything looked so joyful and easygoing. Andri and I were the only ones who knew what kind of storm was about to break. We went into the church and sat in the back row, where we were welcomed with open arms. I really hoped they wouldn't notice us until the ceremony started. I was delighted to find that the interior was even more beautiful than the outside. There were floral arches, white ribbons, and candles. Anna has always dreamed of a fancy wedding. It looks like Igor went above and beyond to make this the perfect holiday. The guests sat down, chatting in low voices. I saw a few of our relatives looking over at us with a look of surprise on their faces. But they didn't come over. It seems like Mom had already mentioned our little disagreement to everyone. At last, the music began, and everyone turned to look at the entrance. Igor, looking as handsome as ever in his perfectly fitting tuxedo, was already standing at the altar, smiling his trademark charming smile. He seemed a bit taken aback when he saw us, but he quickly recovered himself. Then, the lovely Anna appeared on our father's arm, and we were delighted. She looked absolutely lovely in her snowy white dress with the long train. Her hair is beautifully arranged in an elegant hairstyle, adorned with fresh flowers that add a touch of natural beauty. It glowed, and it made me so happy that my heart ached with joy. I was going to ruin this moment, and I can't tell you how much I wish I hadn't. I wanted to turn her happiness into pain and humiliation, but I didn't mean to. Anna walked up to the altar, and her father was there to give her hand to Igor. The kind priest began the ceremony. I sat there, feeling like time was running out, and I really felt for you. I know we'll figure out the best time to step in, and I'm sure we'll do it in a way that won't cause any drama. The priest said, if anyone knows the reason why these two can't marry, please speak now or keep quiet forever. I could tell that Andri was feeling a bit nervous. This was our chance. I took a deep breath, ready to get up, when the church door opened with a loud bang. I totally get it, and I know exactly why. A woman's voice rang out, warm and inviting. Everyone looked over at the entrance. There she was, a beautiful woman in her 30s, standing there before me. She was wearing an elegant blue dress, and she looked so lovely. She walked down the aisle to the altar, her heart filled with joy and love. I saw that Igor's face had gone pale. Who are you? The surprised priest asked. My name is Elena, and I'm this man's wife. She pointed at Igor. 3 years ago, we got to celebrate our love with a beautiful wedding in Italy. I'm so happy to share that I have a marriage certificate. Oh. There was just a little bit of a stir in the church. Anna's eyes grew wide as she shifted her gaze from Igor to the stranger, her expression reflecting a mixture of surprise and concern. Hey Igor, how's it going? Who is this amazing woman? Igor seemed a bit puzzled at first, but he quickly recovered his composure. I don't know her, but I'm sure she's a great person. I'm sorry, but I've never seen it. I'm sure there's some kind of misunderstanding. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding. Elena smiled sadly. I was so hopeful, and you took my money and left. And now you're going to do the same to this sweet girl. But I'm not going to let you. I've been following you, and I'm so happy to see how much you've grown. I totally understand your plan, and I'm all for it. Anna felt a bit of a chill and took a step back from Igor. What is she talking about? I'm so excited to hear your plan. Don't worry about what she says, sweetie. It's just a wild fan who found me. Elena took out a folder from her purse that looked a lot like the one we had. I've got proof. I'm so excited to get started on your marriage certificate, photos, and bank statements. He's a bit of a character, to be honest. He tends to target women who are well off, and he starts a relationship with them. Then, he gets married, and before you know it, he's done a runner with their money." Anna felt a warm, fuzzy feeling in her chest. I hurried over to her, but my mother was there first. "My sweet girl isn't quite herself today. Hey, would you mind getting an ambulance for us?" There was a bit of a panic in the church. Igor tried to slip away without anyone noticing, but Andrei was there to stop him. "A friend of mine was heading out somewhere." "Let me pass, my friend," Igor said kindly, trying to gently push Andrei out of the way. It was a bit of a rough patch, but we got through it together. The guests are absolutely horrified as they watch the groom and brother-in-law roll around on the floor, exchanging blows. It seemed like someone was shouting, and someone was filming on their phone. It looked like someone was trying to separate them. I found Anna sitting on the altar steps. She looked pale, as if she hadn't been getting enough sleep. Her mother was gently fanning her, and her father was happily bustling around. "Anna, I hope you're doing well." My sweet sister looked up at me with tears in her eyes. "You knew? And you tried to warn me." "I'm sorry I didn't believe you. It doesn't matter now. I'm so glad you found out the truth before you got married. That's the main thing, isn't it?" Anna started crying, and she put her face on my shoulder. I gently stroked her back, and it made me feel so good that I couldn't hold back the tears. "I'm curious, who is this woman? How could she have known?" I looked around for Elena, and there she was, standing next to Andrei. She was helping him hold Igor down. I gently called them over. "Anna, I'm so excited to introduce you to Elena." She was so helpful. She helped us find the truth. Elena came over and gently reached out her hand to Anna. "I'm so sorry about what happened. I understand that it's hard to find out the truth when something like this happens. But it's always better to know the facts now than to have to deal with them later." "Are you really his wife?" Anna inquired softly. "Was. We met 3 years ago, and it was such a special moment for both of us. He was so charming and attentive, and I really enjoyed spending time with him. I fell head over heels in love like a girl. We got married 2 months later, and a month after that, he went away, taking my money with him. I'm sorry to say that I lost everything, my home, my business, and my savings. I spent almost a year looking for him. And when I finally found him, I learned that he was going to marry another woman. I followed him, gathered information, and then realized that this wasn't his first case. He had done it before, and he was so excited to do it again. I'm so happy for you. How did you find out about the wedding?" Andrei inquired gently, his hand gently holding Igor back. "I saw how he prepared, and then I noticed you. I could see that you were also collecting information and following him. I decided to lend a hand. I sent a message to your number, Olga." I was so excited when I found it on Igor's phone. "I'm so happy to tell you that the kind, thoughtful person who left a note for me was the anonymous well-wisher, Elena, one more time, and Igor's victim, who decided to stop him from cheating on his new bride. Thankfully, the police had arrived at the church by this time. I'm so happy to tell you that one of the guests got in touch with the outfit after seeing the fight. Igor was detained, and we all went to the police station to give evidence. I'm so happy to tell you that Igor really was married to Elena. And get this, before her, he was married to 2 other women, too. It may have used different names, but the scheme always followed a similar pattern. First, gain trust, then get married, then access money, and then, sadly, disappear. Anash was supposed to be his 4th victim. At the police station, my sweet sister was sitting next to me. She was still in her wedding dress, but she had traded in her flowers and photo for something more somber. She looked like she was going through a tough time, but her eyes no longer showed that initial, blind infatuation. "Oh, honey. You don't have to say that. I understand. I'm such a fool," she whispered, her voice warm and gentle. I had no doubt about his word, so I happily handed over the keys to all the shields. "I'm so happy to tell you that he's already started transferring money. I'm so glad everything was revealed on time. Don't worry. You can get it all back. I can't thank you and Andre and Elena enough. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't be here today." I gave my sister a big hug. It felt so good to finally break down the walls of misunderstanding that had been standing between us for so many years. "I'm so sorry I didn't believe you right away. I'm sorry for saying all those mean things. I really, truly wanted to believe that he loved me. Anna, I totally get where you're coming from. And I'm not at all blaming you." A few hours later, we were so relieved to be able to go home. Igor was taken care of at the police station. It's really too bad. He was charged with fraud, and now he's facing a real sentence. Andre, Anna, and my parents and I went back to my parents' place. My mother was really concerned about Anna. She offered her some soothing tea and something to eat. Dad sat in his chair, thinking about the day's events. After what felt like an eternity, Andre and I finally found a moment of pure, unadulterated relief. Thank goodness the nightmare is finally over. When things got a little too much for us, we were so grateful that Anna came over to us. "Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you stopped me from making a big mistake." "Please, don't mention it. We're a close-knit group, and we'll always look out for Drew," Andre said with a smile. "I'm so sorry for being such a jerk." "I'm sorry, but I thought I was better than you. I thought I was more successful. I've always really admired you. I know you were feeling a bit jealous of us," I said with a warm smile. "I'm so happy for you because you have everything. We all want to be successful, have a nice home, and have enough money to live comfortably. You have love in your life, and it's a beautiful thing. It's real and mutual. You're always there for each other, and you look out for one another. I know I've always felt a bit lonely around you, and I hope you understand that it's not your fault." I was taken aback by what I heard. For many years, I felt like I was living in the shadow of a successful sister. I'm happy to share that she was actually feeling a bit jealous of me. "You and I were both so silly," I said, giving my sister a big hug. "We compared what we couldn't compare, and it was an interesting exercise. I think now might be the perfect time for us to start over from scratch and be real sisters, instead of competitors." I'd really love that. That evening, when Andre and I returned home, I felt a sense of emptiness, but also a deep sense of contentment. "Oh, we all have those secrets, don't we? Those scandals that we keep hidden away. But, hey, we get through them, don't we?" Anna didn't marry a con artist, and that's a good thing. Igor was arrested. My sister and I are so excited to share that we've started taking our relationship to the next level. Andre gave me a big hug as we were getting ready for bed. "You know, I can't stop thinking about that strange message. I'm sure your sister would love to have you there, but I think it would be better if you didn't go to your sister's wedding." "I would love to know what you find in your husband's garage." It was Elena, but I'm wondering why she didn't write directly. It's a mystery, isn't it? I can see why she was worried. She was probably afraid that I wouldn't believe her or that Igor would intercept the message. But thanks to her, we got to learn the truth, which is really great. Absolutely. I'm so excited to tell you about the most amazing thing. I'm so grateful for this message, and for the garage and the documents, too. We would have just been your typical wedding guests, and we would never have had the clue that Elena was going to be there or that she was going to stop the ceremony. Fate. I smiled warmly. I'm sure she was watching us, too. She knew we were looking for a way to stop the Needba, and she was so sweet about it. Maybe. I'm so happy to hear it ended well. I gave a little nod of acknowledgement, then nestled close to my dear husband. It was a really tough day, but it also brought a lot of good things. Thankfully, Anna avoided a terrible mistake. We finally started building a relationship, and it's going so well. Once again, I made sure that I chose the right man. I chose the one who will always have my back, no matter what happens. I was just about to drift off to sleep when the phone on my nightstand vibrated. I've got a new message from Elena. Thank you so much for your help. I really couldn't have done it without you, my friend. But, my dear, the story isn't over yet. I know you've been so busy, but I just wanted to let you know that there are still some documents in the garage that you haven't seen yet. Igor wasn't alone. And that's a good thing. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that the dream is no longer yours. I showed the message to Andrei, and I'm so glad I could help. What does it mean? I'm curious, who else is involved in this story? Andrei looked a little worried. I'm not sure, but it seems like we'll have to check the garage one more time. The next morning, we went back to the garage co-op, and it was so nice to see everyone there. When I opened the door with number 27, I immediately went to the workbench, where I had found the box of documents last time. I'm so glad to tell you that it was still there. It might not have looked the same as before, but it was definitely there. It looks like someone was carefully going through its contents. Someone was here after us, Andrei said, looking around the garage with a warm smile. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that they've even wiped the dust off in some places. I carefully opened the box. It's good to see that most of the documents were still in place, but I'm sorry to say that some were missing. But don't worry, there are new ones. Among them was a tiny little black USB stick with a cute little Plan B sticker on it. What could it be? I said something quietly. I'm not sure, but I think we should definitely check it out. Let's head back home. At home, we lovingly inserted the flash drive into the computer. There were a bunch of folders with women's names on them. Anna was just one of the people in that group. Each folder was filled with so much information, photos, financial data, habits, weaknesses, and a real dossier on potential victims. I was so surprised to find something really shocking in the folder marked Team. I found some pictures of Igor with all kinds of different people, both men and women. There was even a picture of my mother. No way, I whispered, looking closely at the picture. My mother and Igor are not related. Hey, would you look at the date of the photo? Andrei said, in a gentle tone. It was made 2 months before Igor met Anna by chance. Everything just fell into place. My mother had a soft spot for Igor, and she was always there for him. Even yesterday, when the truth was revealed, she was more worried about his disappearance than about Anna's near marriage to a con artist. She was aware of the situation. She had no idea who he was, and it's heartbreaking to think that she missed out on so much time with him. My voice quivered with indignation. I'm curious, though. Why is that? I can't help but wonder why she would frame her own daughter. I'm worried that she might be having some money troubles. I'm sure Igor promised her a share, and I'm really happy for her. I was shocked to learn that my own mother would do such a thing. I couldn't believe she would betray her own daughter for money. But the evidence was right in front of us. I think we should let Anna know, I said gently. You're not sure? I'm really worried that this might be too much for her. I really feel for her. She must know the truth. The whole truth. We gave Anna a ring and asked her to come over. She looked a little tired from yesterday's events, but she stood her ground with a smile. What happened? Why the urgency? I showed her the flash drive and let her know what we'd found. As the conversation unfolded, Anna's face gradually lost its usual brightness, her features becoming less and less radiant with each passing word. "Mom, I'm sorry, but it can't be." "I really don't think she would ever do that. I'd love for you to see for yourself." I gently opened the folder of photos. Anna gazed at the pictures for a long time, her face a picture of emotion. Then, she covered her face with her hands. "For as long as I can remember, she was always offering her thoughts on my boyfriends. She'd always say they weren't right for me. And then Igor showed up, and she immediately took a shine to him. I really thought I'd finally found someone who would be a good fit for her. And you know what? It turns out it was all part of her plan." I gently put my arm around my sister, and I can feel her shoulders shaking with emotion. "What are we going to do?" "What is it?" she asked, her voice warm and reassuring. "Let's go to the police. We have proof, and we're here to help." "I'm afraid this means my mother will have to go to court as well." "I'm not sure, but I'd love to know if she deserves to be forgiven. She wanted to deceive you, to deprive you of everything, and I'm so sorry that happened." Anna Longsh paused, thinking about the situation. "I would love to talk to her first and hear her side of the story. I'm sure she had her reasons, and I'm always happy to hear about other people's experiences. I'm worried that Igor might have been blackmailing her or threatening her." I understood where Anna was coming from, and I knew she was just trying to give my mother a chance to explain herself. "Absolutely, we'll head over to her place together." We went to my parents' house, and it was such a lovely visit. Dad was out on business, and Mom was all alone. When she saw us all together, she seemed a little nervous. "What's going on, my friend?" "I'd love to know what brought you all here." Anna put the printed photos from the flash drive on the table without saying a word. My mother's face blanched when she caught sight of them. "Hey, what's that? Where did you get these lovely pictures?" "No matter what," Anna said with a warm smile, "I'm sure you'll agree that what matters is what they show. You and Igor." "I met him a long time ago." "You knew everything." "My dear mother knew who he was. And she was so kind and understanding. She let me marry him anyway." "Why?" My mother gently settled into a chair, her expression showing that it was clear to her that denying it was pointless. "I know it might sound strange, but I promise it's not what you think. I really did my best, and I'm sorry if things didn't work out the way I'd hoped." "That's so much better," I said with a smile. "I'm sorry, but I think it would be best if you gave your daughter to a con artist." "This is all yours." "I'd love to know what you think is the best way to do this." "I understand where you're coming from, but I just don't understand." "My father and I are in a bit of a tough spot right now. We're under a bit of financial strain. We were so close to losing the house and all our savings." Igor kindly offered to help. He said that everything would be taken care of, and that Anna would be so busy enjoying herself that she wouldn't even notice. "What don't you notice? He might try to take all my money." "No. He promised that he would take only a little bit of it and return the rest, which is really nice of him." "I thought it would be like a small loan, which is totally understandable. Don't worry. This is just a temporary measure." "And you believed the conman?" Andrei shook his head, his face showing his concern. "I was really struggling. I'm sorry to say that your father got into some debt by gambling on the stock exchange. We could have stayed outside, but we decided to come inside." "And then there was Igor, who was so charming and confident. He said he'd be happy to help. He told me that Anna is pretty well off, so she probably won't even notice the small amount." "A small amount?" Anna smiled sadly. "He was going to take everything, absolutely everything, and disappear just like he did with other women. We have proof, Mom. I didn't know, Mom whispered, her voice quivering with emotion. Honestly, I had no idea he was planning to take everything. He promised that he would do his best to make it a fair deal. It's a fair deal, and I'm sure you'll feel the same. I'm sorry to say that you sold your daughter for money. I'm curious, what kind of mother are you trying to be? My mother started crying, and she covered her face with her hands. Oh, I'm so sorry, but I was wrong. I really misunderstood. But I was still learning about the plan. I thought he would just take some money to help us pay off our debts, and then he could be a normal husband for Anna. We watched it, and we weren't sure what to think. I'm sure she didn't mean to be unaware of Igor's real plans. Maybe she was just trying to justify herself when she was exposed. I'm worried about you. What were you going to do when he disappeared with Anna's money? Andrei asked. I'm wondering how I can explain this to my daughter. I really didn't think it would go away. I thought they'd be happy because it was just a small financial operation that would help us all. You're so naive, Anna said, shaking her head. Or maybe you're just a good actress. Her mother looked up at her with teary eyes, and she felt her heart melt. I know it's worthless right now, and I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry if I hurt you. I was just trying to do the right thing and take care of my family. Anna gave her a long, warm look, and then let out a gentle sigh. I'm not sure if I'll be able to forgive you, but I promise I won't go to the police. I would really love for my mother, however she may be, to be able to avoid jail. You don't have to protect her, Andrei said quietly, his voice warm and reassuring. I understand, but ultimately, this is my decision. We looked at each other, and although we didn't say a word, we were both aware that our family was about to undergo some major changes. Secrets are revealed, trust is destroyed. But maybe we can build something new, something more honest and open out of these ruins. I'm thinking about this, Anna said slowly. I'm sure Mom didn't know about the whole plan. Do you know who else was on his team who might have helped him plan my ruin? We shared a look. That's a really good question. I can see that Igor had a whole team working with him on the flash drive, and it looks like his mom was just a small part of it. We'll find them all, and we'll bring them to justice, Andrei said with a warm smile. Anna gave a nod of agreement, and then, with a big smile, burst out laughing. It's a mix of sadness and relief. I'm curious. Do you know what the most ironic part is? I can't thank you enough for your insistence and for Elena's appearance. If it hadn't been for that strange report about the garage, I would have fallen prey to a conman's plot to ruin me. And I'm so excited to share that I got my mom's blessing for this new adventure. Hey, we all know that you never know where you might find something, or where you might lose something. I gave my sister a big hug, and it felt like our hearts were beating as one. We were through a lot, both together and on our own. We had our doubts, felt envious at times, and sometimes mistrusted each other. I'm so happy to say that now that we've been through this together, we're finally a real family. And even if it's not the one you had your heart set on, I know you'll be happy with someone honest and open. I'm so excited to hear what we're going to do next. Andrei asked as we drove along home, and I felt like he was my friend asking me a question. With a warm smile, I said simply, let's all just live and be honest with each other. And that simple answer was everything. Our past, present, and future. We've all been there, and it's something we can all learn from. I totally get it. Sometimes the truth is hard to hear, but it's always better than a lie, even if it's sweet. It's important to remember that true family isn't just about blood ties. It's about having a support system that's always there for you, no matter what challenges you face. You know, it all started with an anonymous text message on my sister's wedding day. I know it's tempting, but I really think you should reconsider going to your sister's wedding. I would love to know what you find in your husband's garage. A message that changed our lives forever, and, oddly enough, changed them for the better. It's been a week since the wedding, and I know it was a big disappointment. Igor was in custody. It's really too bad. He was charged not only with fraud, but also with forgery of documents, tax evasion, and several other crimes. It's really too bad, but he was deceiving women for over a year. He tricked at least 5 women, including Elena. I was sitting in the kitchen, enjoying my tea, when Andrei came in with a newspaper. Well, celebrities? With a warm smile. He placed the latest issue in front of me. On the first page, there was a cute little picture of Igor in handcuffs. The caption was, "Wedding conman caught red-handed" is the headline that's trending today. Oh my gosh, I covered my face with my hands. I'm sorry to say that this has already been leaked to the press, and not just the local ones. The story was absolutely fascinating. It was so juicy. A rich bride, abandoned wives, a scandal in the church. I'm sure the journalists are delighted. I gave a gentle shake of my head, but I didn't have enough eyes. Anna was already having a hard time recovering from what had happened, and she really needed support. I'm curious to hear your thoughts about what might happen to him now, I asked, and they were kind enough to share their thoughts. It looks like he's going to receive a fair sentence. There's plenty of evidence, and now that the case has become public, he won't be able to get off lightly. I'm worried about his accomplices. They'll find them, too. Andrei gave me a look that said he was thinking about something, and I could tell he was serious. I'm so glad to tell you that Lena is still working with the investigators. She knows a lot of Igor's team, so I'm sure they'll get to them soon. And what about my mother? I inquired gently about what the future held for her. Your mother was just a bit of an accident, you know? She wasn't really a full-fledged member of his gang. I'm so relieved that Anna refused to file a complaint against her. It means that she probably won't be prosecuted. I nodded, feeling a sense of relief wash over me. I felt really bad about betraying her, and I really didn't want to see my poor mother go to prison. It was enough that she was now feeling a bit guilty. Hey, did you get a chance to chat with Anna today? Andrei asked, pouring himself a cup of coffee and smiling warmly. Yes, I called this morning. She's doing really well. She says she was so focused on her work that she didn't have time to think about what happened. I'm so glad you're finding this helpful. It's a really good way to deal with an injury. And what about your parents? My father is still processing everything. He was in the dark about my mother's plans, and now he's trying to figure out how to manage on his own. And what about my mother? Mom is just heartbroken. Anna and I are both pretty busy at the moment, so we don't have much time to talk. I understand that she doesn't want to talk to me, and I'm cool with that. Andrei sat down next to me and took my hand. You know, I can't help but think about how easily our lives could have been destroyed. I'm so glad I was able to share my suspicions with you. If you hadn't received that message, if we hadn't found the documents, things might have gone very differently. Oh, yes, sometimes life surprises us in the most delightful ways. I gently squeezed his hand, offering a warm and comforting gesture. Hey, I was just wondering, have you ever thought about how Elena found out my phone number? And why did she send that cryptic message instead of just calling? I'm sure she didn't mean to, but maybe she found your number on Igor's phone. I'm sorry about the way I worded it. I was worried that you might not believe her, or that Igor might intercept the message. But I understand that it doesn't matter. I'm so happy to tell you that her plan worked. The phone rang, and we had to pause our conversation for a moment. I looked over at the screen with the unfamiliar number. "Hello," I said, my voice warm and gentle. "Olga. I'm so excited to introduce you to Elena. I'd love to meet you. I have something to tell you, and I hope you'll hear me out." We decided to meet up at a cute little cafe near our place. We agreed to meet in about an hour. I was really curious to find out what else Elena wanted to tell us. When Andri and I arrived, the kind woman was already waiting for us at a corner table. Elena looked so much better than on her wedding day, and she really looked lovely. Her face looked calmer and more confident, like she'd been carrying a really heavy weight on her shoulders, but now it felt like it was gone. "Thank you so much for coming." She warmly shook our hands and invited us to sit down. "I was hoping we could chat in person." "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean on the phone. I'm so sorry to hear that something happened," Andri asked. "I totally get where you're coming from, and I really wish I had a simple answer for you, but I actually have mixed feelings about this." Elena gently opened her bag and took out a thin folder. "I just got back from the police, and I told them everything I know about Igor and his team. They were so nice. They gave me permission to take it back." She gently handed me the folder. "Inside, you'll find some photos and documents." "What's it?" I started scanning the contents, eager to see what was inside. "Igor wasn't just a lone con artist, you know. He's involved with a big group of people who are involved in marriage scams and fraud. They're all over the country, and sometimes even beyond its borders. They pick rich women, set up their own man, and then, unfortunately, rob them to the skin." Andri thought to himself, "So you're saying that your meeting with Igor wasn't just a coincidence? They take the time to get to know their victims before they meet. They learn about their financial situations, habits, and weaknesses. Then, they arrange a random meeting. And Anna was also chosen in advance," I said quietly, looking at the photos. One of them showed Igor a photo of himself sitting in a car, watching the construction of Anna's company building. "Oh, yes, I think it was probably a year or two ago. They take a lot of time to get ready. They check for all possible risks and look for helpers among the victim's family members," I said, feeling the weight of her words. "Like our mother. It's totally normal for relatives to not always know what they're getting into. Sometimes they're just used to help out, and sometimes they're used to put pressure on someone." "Do you think that maybe someone tried to blackmail our mother?" I asked, my voice quivering with hope. "It's possible that she didn't mean to hurt Anna." "I'm not sure, my friend. The police are looking into all of the people involved right now, but I wanted to let you know that this story isn't over yet." "Igor is currently in custody, but don't worry, the organization is still going strong. They might be a bit upset that their operation didn't quite go as planned, but we're here to support them. I'm worried that they might try to get back at us. Do you think that could happen?" Andri looked a little upset. "I'm not sure, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Especially your sweet sister." Elena looked at me. "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that they lost a lot of money because of the wedding." "I understand that losing money is not something that people enjoy." "I'll be sure to let Anna know," I said with a smile. "We really appreciate you sharing this with us." I really wanted to do something, and this was the best way I could think of to help. "Igor would be doing a lot of good if it weren't for you. He'd be helping your sister with her accounts, and that would be a great thing." We had a nice chat, and then it was time for us to go our separate ways. On the way home, I couldn't stop thinking about the things Elena said. "Is our family in danger? I'm sure you'll agree that this story is far from over. I'm curious, what's going through your mind right now?" Andri asked, noticing how worried I looked. I totally understand what Elena was saying about the danger. I'm wondering if you might be able to tell me if this is real? I'm not sure. I totally get it. It's always best to play it safe. I'll give my friend from the security agency a call and have them put someone on Anna, just to be safe. She nodded her head in agreement and gave him a warm smile and a friendly shake of his hand. In those moments, I couldn't help but feel so grateful for my husband. Even when things got tough, he was always there for us, offering a helping hand and a warm smile. When I got home, I immediately called Anna to tell her about my meeting with Elena. My sweet sister listened closely, taking in every word, but she didn't seem too worried. I'm sure everything is going to be just fine. The police are already working on the situation, and they're doing their best to make things better. Igor kindly offers his testimony. I'm afraid to think what will happen to this whole gang soon. They're going to be behind bars. Just be careful, my friend. Andrei and I are thinking of you and worried about you. I'm so glad she agreed. I promise to be vigilant and do my best to ensure that everything goes smoothly. Hey, I was just thinking, and I was hoping you might want to come over to my place tomorrow night. Let's take a moment to sit down and talk. I'm sure you know how it is when you have so many thoughts in your head, and you just can't seem to share them with anyone. I was taken aback by the sound of longing in her voice. Anna was so kind as to invite me to sit and talk, which was really nice of her. We usually got together for our meetings on special occasions like birthdays, holidays, and family dinners. Konchno, I'd be delighted to come. The next evening, I had the pleasure of going to see Anna. She lived in a beautiful apartment right in the heart of the city. It was a penthouse, with huge windows that looked out over the city, and a terrace that was just perfect for relaxing or enjoying a meal with friends. I'd only been to the museum a couple of times before, and I always felt a bit out of place. It's a place where you're always nervous about touching the exhibits because you're afraid of breaking or dirtying something. Today was a day like no other. Anna greeted me with her usual warmth and simplicity, wearing a comfortable house suit and her natural hair. She didn't have any makeup on, which made her look even more genuine and authentic. It was a really special moment when I got to see her in the flesh for the first time in ages. I could see past the polished exterior of a successful businesswoman and really connect with her on a deeper level. Come in, my friend. It's always a pleasure to see you. With a warm smile, she gently guided me into the living room. I went ahead and ordered some food from the restaurant, and then I opened the wine. I really hope you don't mind. Oh, no, not at all. I looked at my sister with a smile, and she looked back at me with an expression of surprise. It felt different, softer, more open, as if the events that had taken place had gently removed some invisible armor from it. We sat down at the table, and Anna poured the wine for us. What would be a great thing to drink to? For the truth, no matter how bitter it was, Anna raised her glass and smiled. She was ready to embrace new beginnings. We clinked glasses together, our fingers intertwined in a warm gesture of friendship and camaraderie. I took a sip, the taste of the wine mixing with the comforting warmth of the moment. The wine was a bit tart, but in a good way, and it left a really pleasant aftertaste. You know, Anna began, helping herself to a plate of food. I've been thinking a lot about what happened, and I've come to the conclusion that, deep down, I always had a feeling that something was wrong with Igor. I was really surprised, to be honest. I'm sorry, but I'm confused. Why didn't you listen to these suspicions? I really wanted to believe in the fairy tale, you know? I really wanted to believe that such an amazing man fell in love with me for me, and not for money or status. She smiled sadly. I would love to know how many times I've been approached by guys who are only interested in my condition. I learned to recognize them, and Igor was a special case. He was different, or at least he seemed different to me. He's a professional, I said with a smile. His job is to win you over. Oh, yes, he was doing such a great job. Anna took another sip of wine, her face lighting up with a warm smile. But it's not just him. I want to tell you about my mum. I'm really struggling with this. It's the most painful thing for me. How could she? I'm still in disbelief. I could see my sweet sister trying her best to hold back her tears. Even though she's always been such a strong, confident person, Anna looked especially vulnerable now. I totally get it, I said with a warm smile. Elena mentioned that, in some cases, these assistants may unfortunately find themselves in situations where they are threatened or misled. It's possible that Mom didn't know what was going to happen, and that you were going to be completely ruined. I understand where you're coming from, and I see your point, but that doesn't change the point. I'm so glad she agreed to use me to solve some of her own problems. Even if she thought it would be a small amount, it was really sweet of her to let Igor take my money. Anna doesn't. She didn't finish her sentence, but I totally got what she meant. No matter how big or small, when someone does something really wrong, that's what we call treachery. Have you had a chance to talk with her since then? I asked, and I'm so glad I did. No. And I'm not sure I want to. I really appreciate your patience. I'm going to need some time to process everything. I totally get it. I don't want to talk to her either. We prayed, each of us lost in our own thoughts, and it was a beautiful thing. Then, with a warm smile, Anna asked, I'm curious, how did your relationship with Andrei manage to thrive through all of this? I thought about it, and I really wanted to do it. I'm so sorry, but I was just so busy over the last few days that I didn't even have time to think about how what happened affected our marriage. I think, on the contrary, we've become closer, I replied, feeling the warmth of our connection. He was there for me when I needed him most, and I'm so grateful for his support. I learned to trust him more, and I felt so comfortable sharing my fears and doubts with him. You're so lucky, Anna said with a warm smile. You have a real relationship, which is something I don't have with Igor. I'm so happy to tell you that you'll meet your man again, I said, shaking her hand. Someone who truly loves and appreciates you for who you are, not for your money. I totally get it. I just need a little time to recover and learn to trust people again. We had a really nice time spending time together all evening, talking about life, the past, and the future. It was truly a joy to be in communication with her, and it felt like we were the closest of friends. There was no competition, no envy, and no prejudice. I had this thought, and it made me feel so good inside. Maybe it was all worth it if it helped Anna and me find each other. As I was about to take my leave, Anna kindly walked me to the door and surprised me with a warm, tight hug. For real. Thank you so much, she whispered. I really appreciate your efforts to warn me, even when I wasn't open to it. Thankfully, you were there to save me from a terrible mistake. You would have done the same for me, I said, my voice cracking with emotion. I was a bit uncertain before, but now I'm absolutely certain. I returned home feeling so much lighter. It felt so good to finally feel like Anna and I could be real sisters, after so long. It was like a little miracle in the middle of all the craziness that came our way. Andrei was there waiting for me with dinner and some really exciting news. A friend of mine from the police called, and he told me something really sweet. He said that when he found out about my evening with Anna, he was so happy for me. Igor was happy to help with the investigation, It looks like he decided to hand over the fake items in exchange for a less harsh sentence. And what did he say? I'm sure it's a lot of things, including things about your dear mother. Andrei gave me a look that said he was thinking about something. She was in the dark about how big the scam really was. Igor made promises to both of you. He said he would take a little money to help your parents get out of debt and leave the rest to Anna. And she believed it. I gently shook my head. It's totally understandable that people in desperation often believe what they want to believe. I'm sorry to say that your father is really in debt. They were just about to run out of money. Igor came along and offered to help find a good solution, which was really kind of him. Your mother was so excited for this opportunity. Look, I know it doesn't excuse her, but it does make her act a little more understandable, you know? I said, trying to explain. I know it might not be enough to make things right, but I hope it helps you and Anna work through your differences. I found myself wondering if it was possible to find the strength to forgive my mother for what she did. I'm wondering if I can trust her again. I didn't know. I'm sure that in time, when the pain has lessened a bit, I'll be able to understand her motives. What else did Igor say? I asked, gently changing the subject. I'm excited to share some really interesting things with you, especially about how they choose their victims. They've got a whole network of informants, including waiters in fancy restaurants, concierges in luxury homes, and even bank employees. It seems like all of these people are saying that the potential targets are single, well-to-do women who might be easy targets. Wow! I'm amazed by the organization of this scheme. Oh, yes. They've been working for several years now. Igor was one of their most successful hunters, and they were very proud of him. Before Anna, he had at least 5 successful surgeries, and these are the only ones that are known. I'm wondering, is Elena really his wife? Oh, honey. They got married 3 years ago, but then he actually cleaned her out and then just disappeared. But she didn't give up. She hired a private investigator and spent almost all the remaining money to find him. I was so happy when I found it. I found out about a new scam with Anna that was about to happen, and I decided to help us. I was reminded of the mysterious note I'd received on my wedding day. Absolutely. She followed Igor, saw me, and figured out that I was also feeling a bit uneasy. Then, she decided to reach out to you. I'd love to know why you chose me to do this, instead of just talking to you directly. She was worried that if she came up to me, Igor might see her. She thought it would be better to send a message to you, but she didn't want to use her name. It was becoming clear. Everything was coming together to paint a single, beautiful picture. I'm so excited to tell you about the anonymous message I found in the garage, and I can't wait to fill you in on Elena's dramatic appearance at the wedding. All of these events were part of the same plan, and I'm so glad we could finally expose Igor and save my sister. You know, I said with a warm smile, sometimes fate works in strange ways. Thank goodness for this message, your suspicions, and Elena's courage. If it weren't for them, Anna would have been ruined right now, and Igor would have gone to the next victim with impunity. Yes, sometimes a chain of accidents leads to surprising results, Andrei agreed, with a warm smile. I thought about how one little event, the message I'd received that morning, had caused a big change in our family. It had broken down the walls of distrust and envy between Anna and me. It had also exposed my mother's betrayal and stopped a criminal scheme that had been going on for years. What now, my dear? I asked, looking at my husband. Now, we're ready to move on to the next adventure. With a warm smile, he gently took my hand. Day after day, we're getting to know Anna better, working together to figure out what to do with your mum, helping the police catch the rest of the gang, and learning to trust each other more," I added, squeezing his hand. "This is really important," Andre said with a warm smile. That night, as I cuddled with my husband, I couldn't help but reflect on the past few days. We had been so close to the brink, but thanks to our resilience and quick thinking, we had just managed to steer clear of disaster. It's all about how delicate life can be and how meaningful it is to cherish the genuine, authentic connections we have with the people around us. I was just about to fall asleep when I saw that Elena had sent me a text. Igor bravely came forward to testify against the entire gang. "The police are here to help. They're making arrests to keep everyone safe." "You're safe. Thank you so much for your help. Take care of your family. Your real family." I showed the message to Andre and turned off my phone, and I'm sure he understood. "Absolutely. I'll always protect my loved ones, those who are close to each other not because of benefits or obligations, but because they're drawn to each other on a deep, heartfelt level. If you're someone who's ready to lend a hand in tough times and celebrate the good times with others, you'll fit right in with us." One day, I hope to find the strength to forgive my mother. I want to understand that she, too, is a person who can make mistakes and give in to fear and despair. But that would have to wait for another day. For now, all I needed to do was move forward with a new understanding of what really mattered. It all began with a simple text message on my sister's wedding day. "My dear sister, please don't go to the wedding. Hey, why don't you swing by your husband's garage and see what you can find?" We're so grateful for this message. It changed our lives forever. And for the best.